Good evening, and welcome to Election Night in America 2021, where the Georgia runoff races will decide the makeup of the United States Senate after the 20th of January. We have Senator Kelly Loeffler running against Reverend Raphael Warnock. Loeffler was appointed by Georgia Governor Brian Kemp just a little bit over a year ago to fill the seat of Johnny Isakson, who resigned due to health issues. Reverend Raphael Warnock has been able to pose a pretty strong challenge to her first election. We also have Senator David Perdue, first elected in 2014, running against his Democratic challenger Jon Ossoff in these two Senate runoff races. And this right here is the current U.S. Senate map, with the Democrats controlling 48 seats, the Republicans with 50. As you can see, there's still those two undecided seats from the state of Georgia, which will be decided tonight, and Republicans need 51 seats for a majority, while Democrats only need 50, as they do control the vice presidency, with Kamala Harris, who will break the ties in favor of the Democratic Party. So here are the results for the U.S. regular Senate race held on November 3rd. David Perdue won 49.7% of the vote, just 0.3 away from that 50% threshold needed to win the race outright. Jon Ossoff was able to pick up 47.9% of the vote. This race was historic for the state of Georgia, as it destroyed the previous turnout record of 3.9 million from 2008. This race attracted more than 4.9 million Georgians to come out and vote. And also, Shane Hazel, the Libertarian candidate, received 115,000 votes, which corresponds to 2.3% of the total vote. So David Perdue was not able to reach 50%, thus why this race has gone into a runoff between Perdue and Ossoff. And now, taking a look at the numbers between the Kelly Loeffler and Raphael Warnock in the Georgia Senate special election, Warnock was able to win a plurality of votes with 32.9% to Kelly Loeffler's 25.9%. This is because Republican candidate Doug Collins also received 980,000 votes, which corresponded to exactly 20% of the Georgian electorate, which is why Kelly Loeffler's numbers were so low, as the two split the Republican Party. Raphael Warnock, of course, far away from the 50% needed to win the race outright. So this race has also gone into a runoff between Raphael Warnock and Kelly Loeffler. It is now 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and the polls have closed for the state of Georgia and its two runoff races for the two final United States Senate seats for the 2020 general election. The U.S. Senate runoff election for the state of Georgia, this is the regular race. David Perdue currently leads with 55.7% of the votes to Jon Ossoff with 44.3%. This is with 23% of the votes in, and currently it is too early to call, with an 87,000 vote difference between Perdue and Ossoff. And the numbers for the Senate special election runoff, with 23% of the votes in, is also currently too early to call. However, Kelly Loeffler is doing quite a bit worse than David Perdue, with just 54.5% of the vote to Raphael Warnock's 45.5%. 69,243 votes separate the two candidates in the Georgia Senate special election runoff. We now have a key race alert, as a majority of votes have now been reported for the Georgia Senate runoff races. For the regular runoff race between David Perdue and Jon Ossoff, with 52% of the votes in, David Perdue currently leads with 925,000 votes to Jon Ossoff at 814,000. Just 111,000 votes separate the two candidates. Ossoff with 46.8%, while Perdue holds on to 53.2% of the votes that have been counted so far. However, Jon Ossoff has gained quite a bit of ground since it's the poll closing time. For the Georgia Senate special runoff election, with again 52% of votes reporting, Kelly Loeffler 902,000 votes to Raphael Warnock's 836,666. This race is of course much closer than the regular race, with Kelly Loeffler only winning 51.9% of the votes to Reverend Raphael Warnock's 48.1% as he closes in on the incumbent senator. And here are the county-by-county results for the 16 most populous counties in the state of Georgia. Fulton County, as you can see up there at the very top, with only 50% of its votes reporting. That is going to give Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock a significant boost, but we still have many counties that have only reported 1-2% of their votes. So these are the numbers currently for the 16 most populous counties in the Georgia runoff race. It is now 9:56 p.m. Eastern Time, and we have a key race alert as we can now call one of the runoff races. This is the race between Raphael Warnock and incumbent Senator Kelly Loeffler. We can now project that Raphael Warnock has defeated incumbent Kelly Loeffler to win the Georgia Senate special election. He will face re-election in 2022. However, this is a historic gain for the Democratic Party, as Raphael Warnock has become the first Democratic senator from the state of Georgia in over 3 decades. So this is a very, very crucial gain for the Democratic Party, as now the Republicans must win the outstanding race if they want to keep control of the United States Senate. And taking a look at the results between Raphael Warnock and Kelly Loeffler, with 88.1% of the estimated votes in, we are confident to make a projection. Raphael Warnock has won 51.1% of the votes as of right now to Kelly Loeffler's 48.9%. However, that is of course enough for us to make this projection. Raphael Warnock just over 1.5 million votes, while Kelly Loeffler has won 39,000 votes over 1.4 million. So very staggering numbers for both of these candidates. However, Raphael Warnock right now is the clear winner of the US Senate special election. And the numbers for the regular election between incumbent David Perdue and Democrat Jon Ossoff, with 88% of the votes in this race, has tightened so much closer. It is now 50.1% to David Perdue to just 49.9% for Jon Ossoff. Just a 0.2% margin separate the two candidates. David Perdue winning 1.474 million votes to Jon Ossoff's 1.468. So 4,000 or 6,000 votes separate the two candidates here in the Georgia regular runoff election. It is now 11:45 p.m. Eastern Time, and we have another key race alert as we can now call that final Senate race for the 2020 general election in the 2021 Georgia runoff. And we can project that Jon Ossoff has defeated David Perdue, winning his first 6-year term in the United States Senate. This is another gain for the Democratic Party, and he and Raphael Warnock have now made history. This is the first time since the Truman era that two Democrats have held both seats for the state of Georgia on the Senate level. Jon Ossoff will win a full 6-year term, and he will not be up for re-election until 2026, and will be serving until at least 2027. So Jon Ossoff defeating David Perdue and flipping the state of Georgia along with Raphael Warnock for the 2020 general election. And these are the numbers between Ossoff and Perdue. Jon Ossoff has now crossed the 50% threshold at 50.2% to David Perdue's 49.8%. Ossoff leading by around 13,000 votes with 1.65 million votes to David Perdue's 1.637 million votes. From the state of Georgia, with 98.3% of the votes in, we can project that Jon Ossoff has defeated David Perdue. And we can of course project that the Democrats have now won the United States Senate for the first time since 2012, a net gain of 3 seats for the Democratic Party, as they have flipped the states of Colorado, Arizona, and now these 2 seats in the state of Georgia, while they have lost the seat in the state of Alabama held by Doug Jones to Tommy Tuberville. So Democrats have gained a net 3 seats and flipped the United States Senate for the first time in 8 years. So this is a historic win for the Democratic Party. And so here is the final 2020 general election Senate map, with 50 seats for the Democrats and 50 for the Republicans after these 2 runoff races in the state of Georgia. So Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, after the 20th of January, will break all the ties that occur in the Senate. So this 50-seat Democratic Party will be enough for them to win control of the United States Senate to the Senate Republicans, who also control 50 seats. So the Senate is now fully split even 50-50. However, Kamala Harris will cast those crucial tie-breaking votes in favor of the Democratic Party. So the Democratic Party has won a full trifecta, flipping the presidency, flipping the Senate, as well as keeping control of the House of Representatives. It is now 5:34 a.m. Eastern Time, and we can project full results for the two Georgia Senate runoff races. For the Senate special election between Clay Loeffler and Raphael Warnock, with 100% of the estimated votes in, Raphael Warnock will pick up 51.2% of the votes to Clay Loeffler's 48.8%, winning 1.7 million votes to Clay Loeffler's 1.6 million. So this is a record turnout for a runoff race, however still quite a bit less than that we saw in the general election. However, Raphael Warnock has won enough votes to win a 2-year term until 2023 in the United States Senate. For the regular Senate election between David Perdue and Jon Ossoff in the runoff race, Jon Ossoff has come up from behind and win with 50.3% of the votes, this race being much closer to David Perdue's 49.7%, with 100% of the votes having been counted. Jon Ossoff, of course, the projected winner of this race. However, David Perdue is yet to concede, and so has Clay Loeffler. Clay Loeffler has not conceded the race to Raphael Warnock either. However, Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, the two newest senators, form the state of Georgia.